What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the 606 Whateva Podcast, where we touch on events and agendas around the world and feed them to you from a Chicago perspective.
Man, tell them I'm unapologetically black, melanin heaven, So keep your 2 cents, we charging much more. About the rain on them, I can't contain it anymore. Let's go. Let's go.
If you don't know me, I am Big Mel, a.k.a. The Premise. If you don't know them, let me introduce y'all to them.
Please do.
To my immediate right, it's my man Vince Parks. Cuz, what's up?
Good, man. Just enjoying.
Man?
It's good, I won a little friendly wager, so I'm just enjoying, this bottle that.
It's a lot of comedy going on.
Yeah, but I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, let me get you a.
Hey, take your time.
To my immediate left, my brother, my ace, my homie, Ray Skilly, a.k.a. Underground Goat. I already put that out there.
I appreciate you.
One of the greatest hip hop artists I've ever heard. I've had the privilege to do some things with him. I'm souping this situation up so hard. They say before you tear down, you gotta build.
Gotta build them up,
right?
Build them up.
That being said, the last episode was a pretty good episode.
I would say so. Yes.
Yeah, it's getting better every time.
If nobody has seen the clips that we showed in regards to our little wager, I think Ray, you said that we had we were dead wrong. I think in regards to saying that Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace would be fired.
Yeah, I said Ryan Pace wouldn't be fired. I was dead goddamn wrong.
You was dead wrong.
Yeah.
So our wages was our wages. I think there was 2 bottles.
There's 2 bottles included.
There was a formal apology.
It is.
And you also had to
put that in at the end. But that's okay. I'm still.
It was agreed to. It was agreed to. It was agreed to. It was agreed to.
Can we play the clip?
You a man of your word.
It's agreed to.
I trust you. I wasn't paying attention.
Do you want us to play the clip?
You don't have to do that. You a man of your word.
Let's play the clip real quick.
When you want to play the clip?
Let's play the clip.
Did I say apology?
Well, we're just gonna play the clip.
Okay.
I think that'll answer everything. If
That
I'm
will
not mistaken,
answer
right?
everything if I said apology.
Let's turn it up.
But
if you want to do it, we can do it.
So Vince, you in out.
I'm in.
I love it. I love it.
So if Ryan Pace is still the GM of the Bears, first, so we gotta wait. Okay, so let's do
Monday will be the day that it's
Hold on. So whenever Nagy's demise happens,
Monday.
Give us. You gotta at least give us 2 weeks after. You got to.
Just to see.
You gotta give us 2 weeks after. 'Cause they may not fire them at the same time. So
Technically, they do though.
All right. Can you give us 2 weeks?
I give you 2 weeks.
Right.
That's how
You saw that.
I give you 2 weeks.
So you gotta bring the bottle,
Okay.
and then
Make a public apology.
you gotta bring the bottle.
Do we have to go any
Let
further?
me take it from here.
Go ahead. You got the floor, sir.
All right. So we ain't gonna beef it up no more than what it is, right? I made a bet with my brothers that Ryan Pace would not be fired as GM of the Bears. He was definitely fucking fired. 5 minutes
Right.
after they fired Matt Nagy, they fired his ass.
No need for the 2-week cushion.
No need for the 2 week.
Not even
They fired his
24
ass 5 minutes
hours.
later.
Right.
They bogus for that because they left me a little hope. When they fired Matt Nagy, didn't announce him. I started talking shit, and then 5 minutes later, I stopped talking shit.
Puffed your chest out, man.
So,
you was.
If I got my chest out,
Yeah, we won't. Right.
Show the group text messages, but
We won't show that. And you actually was right about another piece too that we talked about. So you were right about more than just 2 days. I forgot. You said as GM. You didn't say any other role. If it wasn't GM, I lost. So either way, if he took a demotion, I'd have lost that shit. I lost. I was absolutely wrong. Fuck Ryan Pace.
Not Skills.
And because I was wrong,
That's
I
your
had
boy.
to bring 2 bottles.
Don't be so hard on your boy.
No, fuck Ryan Pace.
He
I
just-
didn't buy bottles.
that's
too much going on.
That's not nice.
I'm disappointed. So I'm dead wrong about that.
Okay.
Having said that, I will no longer gamble or make wagers on anything associated with the Chicago Bears. Period. Now.
They do that to you.
Yeah, man, they break your heart. They break your heart.
They do something stupid. They do something extra stupid.
They break your heart, man.
So I'm wrong. But having said that, salute.
Did we hear the apology though?
Well, I did. I said I was wrong, and
I'm just saying I didn't hear an apology.
public apology and
It
saying
was
I apologize.
there was something like an
I
apology in there.
apologize,
Yeah,
gentlemen.
yeah.
I was
All right.
very wrong.
All right.
Raise your cup. That's
Salute.
all you gotta say.
Salute.
Now, did
Yeah.
you remember the hold on. Did you remember the last part of the bet as well?
What was the last part of it?
You just don't remember anything.
Hey, listen, man, I smoke a lot.
So the last part of the bet was you have to agree with everything we talk about.
I did say that.
You did. That was my part of it. So here's what I'm gonna do just to keep the podcast funky and keep it how we usually do.
This is gonna be fun.
The only time you gotta agree with everything we say.
Okay.
Have you ever seen that Fresh Prince episode?
I did.
When
Yes.
Will Smith was
gave us
Yeah.
boom,
Yep.
Ralph, and she boxed him. Anytime I tap my glass,
I gotta agree with you.
this is. But usually we have to, because we talk about serious shit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? So we definitely need our mentality all the way in it. But
No, you're gonna use that at the appropriate
Yes.
time.
Yes,
during
I
this
will.
filming. I already know that's coming. So I'm okay with that. A deal is a deal. I'm a man of my word.
and I love you, brother. I just want you to know it's all love.
Yes,
here.
sir.
But I'm very disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, listen, bro. With that being said, let's get into certain topics that we gonna
Let's
get
do
to,
it.
man.
Let's do it.
Sounds about white.
Oh, I know what this is. Okay.
Jason Van Dyke is getting out.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting out very soon, fellas.
Yep.
After gunning, if you don't know who Jason Van Dyke is, after gunning down Laquan McDonald in the street while Laquan McDonald had his back to him, shot him 16 times in the back on the floor. So he's getting released on good behavior.
After serving
What was it?
Less than 5 years. It's like 3.5 years.
Yeah,
3.5 years?
Yeah.
It was
murder.
it
Yeah.
was very second degree murder.
right.
I don't know how that would be classified as second degree
Well,
murder.
if you're black, second degree murder would get you 10 to 20.
I think they automatically classified cop killings as second degree murder. Like those can't be premeditated or anything. It was just it was in the line of duty and he went too far. So okay, we got our beautiful Maya Angelou gonna be on the quarter. They gave us something, guys.
All right.
Hallelujah.
If
They
you
gave
say
us
so.
that. She gonna be on the quarter. We're gonna talk some sports as usual. That's probably when I'll use my bet my gamble a couple times. But we also here's something, and I just want to park here. I know it's early on, and we got a lot of things to talk about. But the first thing I want to talk about is this so-called non-existent versus battle, right?
Okay.
With Fabulous versus Three Stacks, Andre Three Stacks.
Is this a real thing?
I don't know. I think it's
it's not.
hearsay.
It's
People
not.
are just kind of talking. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing. The only reason why I was wanting to jump on this right away is because our co-producer, the co-producer is the Black Spurt, Wild Bill, what's up? Holla at your
Yes,
boy.
sir.
He was saying that he feels like Three Stacks is overrated. And I want to get y'all take on that.
3 Stacks is overrated. Lyrically overrated?
Just overrated. Yes. Lyrically, and he explained it as and we'll park here for a minute, but he explained it as Andre Three Stacks is to the point where he's got this mystique type of thing going, kind of like a Jay Electronica, because he be
put out
gone
enough material.
and okay, I get that. So when it comes to like rating your top 5 and things like this, I totally get that if he's not in your top 5 because he doesn't have enough material.
Okay.
But he's saying like yeah, man, the minute Andre 3 Stacks could say something like, the cat is the dog, and he'd be like, people would be, ooh, shit. And I'm like, when have you heard
right, say that?
No. That was extremely basic that people still drooled over. So I totally had disagreed with him on that, but I want y'all to take on it, man. First of all, who do you think will win that versus battle?
What's weird about it is when you think of a versus, I don't even think that qualifies as a versus because 3 Stacks never released a solo album.
Right.
Like it was always a group album.
Well, he technically did
the double one. The Love Below.
But even that's not a lot of rap. Even his portion
You're
of the
absolutely
album
right. Now, Fabulous,
like
you go now, unless 3 Stacks can go to some Outkast shit.
If he just take his verse from songs with Outkast.
Yeah. Or just take the whole songs,
You know what I'm saying? Okay, but I don't think
it wouldn't be fair either. Because Fabulous would absolutely murder him when it comes to that.
Fabulous have nothing. Only thing Fabulous doesn't have that's not solo is recently with him and Jada. Like other than the him and Jada project, everything he did, even the mixtapes, was solo.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was that. I think you'll put, if you say best lyrically out of the two, Fab is a metaphor rapper. Right? Now, for those who really, who even rap or fuck with rap music, period, we know that those are we got categories for rappers, right? You got the street rappers that give you, that Griselda is hard. It ain't got to be real lyrical, but it's hard and you feel it. That MOP, Mobb Deep kind of shit. And then you got the guys who are like metaphors. Everything they do, they get the most trendy thing and find a way to make a metaphor out of it. Fab is an expert at that. He could take anything and find a way to manipulate it to make a metaphor. He's great at it. That's not 3 Stacks. 3 Stacks is what's the best way to say? 3 Stacks is a pure rapper.
He take you down the journey.
He just goes. It's not a destination with him. Like he goes a lot of different places. It's not meant to be clever. It's meant to be deep, dope, and consistent. Like he'll rap for 30 minutes straight. And some parts of that may not be great. But overall, all 30 minutes of it is dope. You know what I'm saying?
And he gotta rap for that long too, considering that he don't have a lot of material.
He gotta go, but he's the type that can go. You get him started, any way you get him to start, he can go from anywhere and go. He's a pure rapper.
I think the last big thing I heard 3 Stacks on was Kanye, that song that was supposed to make Kanye's album that didn't. I don't know if I heard it.
I didn't hear that song.
You have to hear that. Like,
I'm gonna
3
check
Stacks
it out.
Go crazy. It's about their mamas.
I know, because I know that he had to remove because I think Kanye did a diss.
He said something, because Kanye went crazy on it too. Let's not get it twisted.
Okay.
He went crazy on it talking about Drake.
Yeah.
But Kanye had, I guess, informed 3 Stacks that it was just gonna be about
it was
paying homage
one way,
to
and
mamas.
then Kanye took it a whole nother.
He went crazy on it. But Kanye just went left field, but he killed that shit.
See, I need to go back and listen. I didn't hear that. The last thing I heard with 3 Stacks was
you gotta pull this shit up.
I know that. Didn't he re-release it with the bonus songs or whatever?
I don't know if that one was on it.
I'm gonna search for that, and I know somebody can get it for me to hear it because I want to hear that first. But I know the last thing I heard 3 Stacks on was Anderson .Paak album.
Okay.
Last year.
Okay. So
So
you're basically saying that you think 3 Stacks wouldn't have a chance with Fabulous in the back.
In a versus for solo,
in a versus, I don't think
he ain't got a chance. He don't have enough material to really pull that off.
Let's put this to the test right now. I think
he's better lyrically.
I think that 3 Stacks would murder Fabulous in a battle.
With the Outkast? Absolutely. What are we talking about?
All right, it works. Vince, what's your take on the Andre verse? And this is all hearsay too. They're not really.
No, I mean, honestly, I think I agree with Skills on the versus piece. I think he's spot on. I think Andre just don't he don't have enough true solo material.
That's the only thing that hurts him.
To compete with Fab.
That hurts him too.
Yeah.
He just had 2 solo albums.
Yeah, that's
I think
it.
He'd have had a chance to burn him. Because I know bar for bar, right? If they go, and this is what I'm saying, this is old school shit. This is how people do shit now. But back in the day, it used to be 2 rappers, you go in the room and you get down.
Yep.
And you know who won. You don't need an audience. If they did that, he will burn Fabulous and some shit like that. Like, play the beat and let's just rap. Fabulous need to go get songs he wrote, and the freestyle, like, just go.
Yeah.
He don't want no parts of 3 Stacks.
Yeah, like I totally agree with that. So did you guys agree? How did you feel about that statement that the Black Spurt made about 3 Stacks being overrated? I thought he may have been.
I don't agree.
With that
Look,
time.
everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I don't agree with that
I don't believe that.
at all.
I think
Yeah.
there's enough songs. And I don't know. I mean, everybody has a right to their opinion, but when I look at that, because I know some artists do. I know Jay Electronica, there's a portion of that that's true with him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he didn't give you a lot of material. He gave you some real good shit, and then he disappeared for damn near 10 years. And then the album he dropped wasn't even as good as the shit he played 10 years ago. Like, you can make an argument with Jay Electronica with that. I don't think you can do that with Andre. I think Andre done won Grammys. He done put out hits. He done made songs that even if it wasn't a radio hit, it was dope. He done did songs with other people. Even when he do features, he burned.
But bro, when you hear Andre 3 Stacks verse,
I can't wait to hear that.
you go in. Yeah, you definitely got
I can't wait to hear that because
You
it's
definitely
always
gotta
something
check
more to
it
his
out.
verses. It ain't nothing simple. You know what I'm saying? Like, it starts off, you be like, where's he going? And then when it finishes, you know exactly where he's going. He take you on a journey.
Real talk.
That's something need to be respected with lyricists. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
They could take you somewhere with it.
Black Spurt, you need to recheck your facts, man. You the Black Spurt too,
Just
man.
on this, Black Spurt.
Yeah.
Just on this.
Overrated. That's
This is a black
that's
topic too, man. You
that's a
totally
bit
dropped
much.
the ball on that.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna keep going in on him because he's not here, but I told him.
And we love
I
him,
told
but
him
it's a
earlier
little
today I
yeah.
wanna go in
It's
on
not
his
too many
ass.
people, period, who want to go bar for bar with Andre 3000.
Nah, yeah, so.
Just on some rapping
Right.
shit.
Shout out to
I don't-
Andre 3
Yeah, it's
Stacks.
not a lot that want to do nothing with him, man.
All right, man. Let's move on to something a little bit more serious, I guess. So, Jason Van Dyke. We kind of talked about what he is. He is the officer that shot down Laquan McDonald 16 times.
Yep.
After serving a little more than 39 months of an 81-month sentence for the shooting and the death of a black teen in 2014.
So he didn't even get 7 years. Like, just let that sink
Former
in. He didn't get
Chicago
7
police
years.
officer Jason Van Dyke will be released from prison next month, and this is set for February 3rd, which is shit. This
It's
may
2
be
weeks
our
away.
next podcast.
It's 2 weeks. Yeah, it's 2 weeks
You know
away.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Who want to take it first, man? All right,
Take it home, Parks.
go ahead.
It's-
Go ahead, Parks. You kick that off.
Like, all right. So this is like
We
so.
can't make this stuff up.
Yeah, like it's-
that's our motto. And when we say these outlandish ass stories about how racism is just overt, but it's subliminal at the same time because they cover it up within the system. It's almost like, not to disrespect our ancestors or anything, but it's almost like, man, make my racism completely overt.
Yeah.
I want to know where it's coming
All right.
from.
Let me know who the Let me know who the enemy
Don't spit on me
is.
when I ain't looking.
Yeah.
That's what the system is. It spit on you and it say like, I bet you can't prove I did it though. And you know damn well he did it, but you can't. And the system is just, and it's getting worse and worse. I didn't mean to.
No, you good. But it's like
ahead.
you knew so you knew what was it 3 years ago or whenever it was. You knew the fix was in because everybody. It felt like everybody was, I don't want to say excited because Laquan McDonald was dead, but it felt like initially everybody was on this whole, we finally got justice and, they gonna get this dude and this, that, and the other. And it was like, all right, hold on, wait until you hear how much time they give him. And then, they went through the sentencing phase and the man got less than, 7 years for
He got 3 years and 3 months.
yeah,
Right?
7 years, and
39
then
years. He got 39 months.
right 7 years. He got a 7-year sentence, and then not even a little over 3.5 years later, we hearing that
Not even 3.5
right
years.
that he's gonna get he's
Three
getting
and a quarter years.
he's getting let out, and so it's just like
For good
the fix
behavior.
right, but it's like you knew as soon as you heard what the sentence was, like you should have knew the fix was already in because he's not gonna do he wasn't gonna do anything. They weren't gonna give him anything, above and beyond 10 years. And then once it was like, he's not getting life, he's not getting, anything close to what they gave Ahmaud Arbery's killers. Right.
First-degree murder.
Right.
They
Right.
civilians too.
Right. And then once that happened and you knew it was a cop, it was like, oh, the fix is in. They gonna give him a slap on the wrist. He got to do a couple years in prison. And then after a couple years, they gonna let him out and he gets to live his life and start over again. And it's, yeah, like it's not even, I hate to, I'm sorry, I'm gonna just say this. I hate to say it, but like, it's so exhausting that I can't even get upset about this. Like that's the crazy part. Like when I read it, I was just like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, it's not a shock because it was the same thing with the Cal Rittenhouse thing, right? We were saying that on what, episode 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were saying that before, like we knew what was going to take place.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen.
Let's just do this. Let's explain to the people, just in case they don't know, the difference between like first-degree murder, second-degree murder, third-degree murder. So first-degree murder is what? Like premeditated, right?
With the intent.
You were like going in there knowing I'm gonna kill this individual.
Yep, you planned it, you executed.
Second-degree murder is like assault that led to something that you didn't expect it to lead
But
to.
you didn't intentionally mean to kill, but you did it to protect yourself.
And so what is third-degree murder?
I think third degree is more like an accidental.
Yeah.
It
Like
still
if it's like
happened.
a car accident, you kill somebody, like something like that.
Like something like the Henry Ruggs.
Yeah, yeah.
Henry Ruggs got he done.
It's over. Yeah.
But so shooting somebody, and I say that to say this. You tell a civilian to, and here's the thing that just disturbs me so bad. Even when I talk to black people, right? The first thing they bring up, well, Laquan McDonald wasn't no angel.
It ain't got nothing to do with it.
What
Ain't got nothing to do with it.
What are we doing?
Ain't got nothing to do with it.
When we say shit like that, what are we even doing? So I bring that degree of murder up, right? Because you shoot somebody in the back 16 times. And I think about eight of the shots were while he was laying on the floor.
Yeah.
Let's just say he had a glimmer of hope. 50 been shot 9 times. Let's just say he had a glimmer of hope where you shot him them first 7 or 8 times and he could have got to the hospital and you made sure it wasn't no coming back for this, bro.
Of course.
You emptied the clip on.
So how is that not first degree murder? That's what I'm confused about. What? And I'm not just talking in regards to me being upset about the whole situation. Right. From a law perspective, how did they camouflage that as second degree murder?
Well, if I remember it correctly, and correct me if I'm
and
wrong.
you usually are on top of this stuff, so please
correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he had a weapon.
He had a knife. He had a knife in his hand.
Walking away.
So that's their bread and butter with stuff like this.
So maybe he was going to try to harm somebody else.
But the video proved he wasn't walking in the direction of anybody. He was standing there yelling with it in his hand. But the threat can be assumed because he had a weapon. It could have been potentially, some damage done. That's how they separated the two. If he had no weapon in his hand, he was just standing there and they shot him down. That's different. But the fact that and to me, it's different, but it's not that different to us personally, right? Because we know that he was mentally ill. He was standing there with a knife in his hand. We know if you got 5 police officers, you can pin him to the ground, take the knife out of his hand. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that kind of thing to empty a clip on the guy. And
you shoot him in the leg. Shoot him. You can.
Isn't that what
they do? Target practice.
Now, okay, you shoot him in the leg. You hit the wrong artery.
I mean, there's always a risk, but
it's the wrong artery. He bleed out. That's second degree murder.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
But it's
or third degree murder
that you empty a clip and they survive.
Exactly.
Right. So you knew then. After you done shot him so many times and he's not moving it. To me, you shoot him 2 times, he's on the ground. Okay, that's it. For you to continue to shoot him as he's laying on the ground, I don't think it matters in terms of me personally that he had a knife in his hand. To me, if a person is coming towards you with a knife trying to attack you, that's different from a person standing there with a knife making a whole bunch of noise. But that's my opinion, right? What they do is with police, they say, You know, we can't put ourselves in that situation. You know, it's a life or death situation. They have to make a judgment call. We can't put ourselves and judge them for that. Like, I get all of that, right? But they use that to their advantage all the time. And that was a case where they did. You had multiple officers out there. He had a knife in his hand. He wasn't going towards anybody. You was just sick of it. But you just took him down.
But I hear what you're saying. I hate when I hear police say, well, we had to make a judgment call, because once again, it gets to a thing of like,
Black people get out of the way,
right?
If you think a police has to
make a judgment call, because it's like, if it's you're a person of color and the police got to make a judgment call, there's a good chance it's about to be a wrap.
You know,
that's how you camouflage everything.
Yeah. Right. So it's
So what was the police officer? What was his name? Chauvin, the police officer.
Derek Chauvin.
That
killed George Floyd.
Was that second degree murder as well?
To me,
I'm just
first degree.
But what was it labeled as?
Was it even? It wasn't first degree. Because he didn't get no major.
It's got to be.
I don't think it was first degree.
It was second degree, if I'm not mistaken.
And again,
and this guy, George, he didn't even have one.
He was handcuffed, right? Wasn't he handcuffed on his stomach?
Yeah.
So to me,
saying he can't breathe.
That to me is an obvious first degree. But again, because it's a police officer, they're saying, well, we were just, he was a little frantic. We was nervous, so we just tried to subdue him and keep him calm. Like, they already know the script to use in all of these situations to protect themselves.
Right.
It's the same script they always use, and nobody's going to question it because of their position. But it's funny how you need more than that when it's not a black person you kill. Like, they're not going to just accept that if it was a white man you kneeled on his neck and killed him. Like, you can't just say, well, we were just subduing him, he was a little frantic. No, that's not enough for the judge if he's not black. You got to give me a little more than that.
So no, Derek Chauvin was convicted of second degree unintentional murder, unintentional murder.
That's what second degree murder.
Right, but I'm just
third degree murder and second degree manslaughter.
Now, see, that's the part that threw me when I heard it. Right, that's the part that threw me when I heard it. If you have citizens on the street begging you to please get off his neck, you're killing him. And you look at them with a smirk and continue to do it, I don't know why that's even on the table.
I'm wondering has there ever been a police brutality incident that led to
major
the demise of a black individual that was actually labeled as first degree murder?
I don't know if we could ever say for sure it wasn't, because there's so many things that happen.
I'm not. Right? I don't.
It could be a few.
We'll fact check that,
right.
And then
hey, that'll be a good thing to do.
Maybe bring it up on the next episode.
If it isn't, then we definitely need to have that conversation. But by being so many incidents with police officers, maybe, you know what I'm saying, a couple of them got, what they did. I would be curious to see if those police officers were not white, who was to the extent of the law and got first degree murder. So it's going to be an interesting research for us.
It would be. And let's keep that in mind. Let's definitely not forget to do that.
Yeah, let's definitely do that.
So, with that being said, this system is very fickle, black people. Mm-hmm. I'm just putting it out there, man. I was talking to one of my guys the other day, and we was talking about the concealed to carry situation, Second Amendment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your right to bear arms. That is such a misconstrued right for us, because you know what has to happen, and we just talked about this with the young brother. I ain't really gonna bring the story up too much, because maybe we'll touch on that next week too. But you use your firearm and you lay somebody down.
Yeah.
You got 12 people that has to be convinced that you was in fear of your own life.
Right.
Right? And then that could be actually mixed up and entangled in the system too, because the first thing they think we are animals any damn way. So in fear, you're like, nah, you just wanted to shoot your gun. You just wanted to get out there and lay somebody down. So be careful with these concealed to carry rules, because the law is concealing how they feel about us carrying pistols anyway.
I mean,
if we not gunning each other down,
they don't get
they're not having it.
Well, I mean,
outside of that, they're not having it.
Philander Castile got killed for just telling the police officer, I have a gun and I have a conceal and carry.
That's true.
And he didn't even get the chance to attempt to comply with the officer's instructions before the officer shot him.
He just announced
it.
Keith Scott.
Yeah. So
I think he had a asthma, some type of medicine that he had, and they thinking he reaching for it.
They shot him down.
And they shot him in his car.
Yeah.
There was a guy in the backyard of his mother's house 2 years ago at a family gathering with a cell phone. They shot him down and killed him. So we see the pattern. My problem is this, right? Because my son is an advocate for the Constitution and what it really means, and he's into all of that, right? This is one thing he said to me and I didn't think about. So the right to bear arms was during the time of war, right? So it only was based on the time of war. So because there was an actual war going on in their actual town, you had a right to bear arms to protect yourself during that time of war. It wasn't meant to just bear arms just to do the shit for recreational purposes. It was written during the time of war. So all of these people know that, right? You know, nobody knows their Constitution and American history more than white people. So they definitely know the intention behind that, but they're still manipulating that to have an excuse to carry all these guns.
You know
it
why?
Wasn't meant for that
because the Constitution is the Constitution.
And it's theirs. Right? It wasn't meant for us anyway. It wasn't in mine when they wrote it.
No, we were enslaved during the time that the Constitution.
But that wasn't the intent of that law, right? It wasn't just so people can just it was to bear arms during time of war.
You know,
but because they didn't say time of war, they can take it and run with it. And they don't want to go back. Somebody had proposed years ago, because these laws are so old, why don't we go back? Why don't we make them more modernized to reflect the current time? They want no part of that.
No, you have...
Because they want to continue to manipulate it for what it is.
No, you have a certain segment of the legal population that will say they're strict, I forgot what the term is, but they... basically like the way the Constitution is the way it's meant to be in they'll tell you it's the way it's meant to be interpreted.
That's ridiculous.
So they don't feel like, you know, like, I get what you're saying, but they'll tell you like, oh no, it's not, we can't.
When was the Constitution written? What was it, 1700s?
Yeah, 17, right. But they'll tell you like,
2022, it still applies
Skill,
today?
I don't disagree.
No,
but
I know you're not disagreeing.
Yeah, but I'm telling you.
There's still gonna be that argument.
Look at the 13th Amendment.
Right.
It's accurate. So about the whole incarceration thing, like why not refer? So the thing that's crazy about the 13th Amendment and don't forget what you was about.
No, you got it. Yeah.
What's crazy about it is that these facilities are called correctional facilities.
Right.
Right, because it's supposed to correct
and rehabilitate you. That's what's supposed to
educate you on when you come outside. Don't make the same mistake.
You're in a better position than you was before you got in.
You come outside with these crazy mental health issues because you're treated like an animal inside.
Trauma.
And that is that even when slavery was abolished, like these certain laws and the way things they would put a black person in jail for jaywalking back then. And it was just so they could fill the jail cells up, make money, obviously, but it's also an extension of slavery. The way they were just arresting and incarcerating black men because, boom, slavery, which was also, let's talk about it, it was an economic low for them once slavery was abolished. So then you get these jail cells that boom, you get these certain amount of dollars for every head that's in there. So you just gotta be. It's such a system that is just definitely, without a doubt, not designed for us. No. So you wonder why it's so discouraging for us to just not even put our heads together and say, because it's overwhelming. Do you remember what you were gonna say?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, like, you have legal scholars and legal experts, people that know the law way better.
And they can't figure it out.
But there are people. I'm gonna say this: there are people who have studied constitutional law that'll tell you the Second Amendment is one of the most misinterpreted amendments we have in the Constitution, because people, you know, regardless of what side you fall on the whole gun issue, but they'll tell you like it was never, like you'll have some people who'll say, oh, it was meant for this, but then you'll have other people who'll say, no, the Second Amendment was never intended to apply to like the individual civilian, right? But yeah, but you also, to what Skills was saying earlier, like you also have people who could consider themselves to believe in strict interpretation of the Constitution, and they'll tell you that like, you'll hear them default to like, oh, the way the framers wrote the Constitution, or the way, the Constitution was written. And it's like, we amend laws all the time. All the time. But these, these laws or these amendments that are, in some cases are over 200 years old, those are the ones that are off limits. So there's a certain, once again, depending on what side of the issue you fall on, but there's certain levels, there's certain hypocrisy, in the Constitution, and how we subsequently amended it to abolish slavery, and we subsequently amended it so, in theory, everybody had the right to vote. But when it gets to the Second Amendment and what the true interpretation of it is, oh no, we can't. That's different. We can't go back. That's set in stone.
So many things have been changed.
Exactly.
One of the things that I argued about for years, because a long time ago I worked at a fathers' rights firm and saw how crazy the fathers' rights laws were.
We talked about that too.
We talked about how one-sided it is, right? It was a miserable experience, but I'm glad I know the truth about the laws. Those things have been adjusted since I worked at that firm. Like, we get to a point now where finally, when we deal with child support, they factor in the woman's income into the child support now, which they've never done before, but they're doing it now. We're making corrections to age-old laws that don't work for this generation. It's not housewives anymore. Yeah. It's career women now, CEOs that women now. Mm-hmm. We can't operate on that old mindset, and they'll make adjustments to those things. There's certain things they're gonna die for. And the right to own firearms and do what they want with them, that's important to them. Now, I have my own theory of why it's so important to them. But we'll do that another time. But it is that
when
important.
When that race war happened, you niggas ain't gonna, we know what we're doing with these pistols.
Right. You're gonna fight or run.
It's a great.
You don't even know what pistol to shoot at close range, what pistol to shoot from a distance.
So it's a famous story back in the late '60s when the Black Panthers were running hard, and so they it's like famous pictures and famous news stories of where they protested on the Capitol in Sacramento, and they had all their shit out there. They was standing on the Capitol with their rifles and everything, right? And so Governor Reagan wrote to I don't know if he wrote to the president or he wrote to J. Edgar Hoover or whomever, but this was, Reagan's like the conservatives, political god. And at that time, he saw all these black people standing on the Capitol with guns, and he caught religion, and all of a sudden we needed gun control to basically get these guns out of these black people's hands, because they're gonna take these guns and kill all these white people. So he was all for gun control at that point, but then every other instance, it's like gun control, we don't need it. But like black people get guns, and then all of a sudden we need to look at this gun control issue and figure out where these guns are coming from. So there's some hypocrisy built into it.
Say this.
To say the least.
Yeah.
I never had a problem with being the owner of a firearm, right? You have the right to protect your family. If it's registered, you shouldn't have no problem with me having a gun.
Yep.
Right? I don't have no problem with that. My issues is it's not even with that, right? So even the NRA, all those times they came out in defense of all of these white people who had incidents with firearms, like even what's the dumbass guy that killed Trayvon Martin?
George Zimmerman.
The NRA came out in support of him for what he did. But anytime a black man was in an identical situation, NRA never came and supported him.
It was quiet as hell with Philander Castile. Like they didn't say nothing.
That's the one person, nobody else.
But he didn't even pull his gun.
He didn't even pull his gun, right.
But see, that's what I'm talking about. That's the reason why I'm saying be careful with these conceal to carry. Because, all us as brothers, man, we be dead on. Like, I got mine on me and all it, and I get that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't advertise it.
man, don't make it.
You don't get the same
as
rates.
trendy as
Right.
you think everybody out here is holding, and that's fine. But be careful, man, because if some shit kick off, them 12 guys in them suits in that courtroom is not gonna have your back.
Exactly.
At all.
No,
So,
it's not going to be a fair fight for us. It never is. But I'm not. I was saying it to say because there's so many black NRA members that come out, got their own videos, their own streaming thing. They're coming out in support of owning firearms, and I don't have a problem with them. My issue is, brother, you have to know that it's one-sided. Like, you're a member of the NRA. You got to know damn well if you get in a similar incident, they're not going to come out.
I'm saying it's like being a black Republican.
So why
I
are
don't
you
understand
so
it.
hard
Yeah.
for them? That'd be my thing about us as a people. We come out and we speak so highly of white people who need to be put on Front Street for what they're doing. But they always get a token black person come out and say, hey man, you're overreacting. It's not like that. And I always look at them and say, until you get in this situation, they turn their back on you, then you'll get it. Right? Don't try to align yourself with them. It's not for you. They're not working for your benefit.
man,
That's what I'm
nobody
saying.
cares about
But,
that.
yeah.
We got a lot of Stevens from Django.
There's a lot of
in
Stevens.
in the world, man.
Yes,
With
sir.
that being said, I think it's time to. We got sponsors that we have to plug. One in particular, Strange Fruit Premium Cannabis.
Yep.
Do you feel stressed out? Do you have anxiety? Do you need just a release from the everyday struggle of society?
Yo, woosah.
Well, Strange Fruit Premium Cannabis has just the thing you need. We have flower, plenty of different strains, straight from California. We love California.
It is a beautiful state.
There's edibles, which we will break out in 1 second. We also have vape cartridges, and we also have oils for your needs, for your cooking needs. We have infused butter. We have infused olive oil. We have infused coconut oil. Strange Fruit Premium Cannabis. Get at us. www.strangefruit.com, at Big Mail Music on IG, Big Mail, aka The Premise. All these platforms, you can hit me up. If you have my number, please shoot me a text. I'll put you on the menu list, and we will deliver to your front doorstep. Strange Fruit Premium Cannabis. Man, that was a pretty good fucking commercial.
That was nice. That was nice. Yeah, yeah.
That wasn't even scripted.
Hey, you did that right off the dome.
That was
really
You know, hey, come on, come on. Give it to him. Give it to
This is
him.
what we're gonna look for, man. Like we're looking for sponsors right now. So what I just did is pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
So that being said, we don't just talk about it. We walk the walk while we talking the talk. In this bag.
The infamous bag.
In the bag.
In the infamous bag. We have, before
Right.
we go on to our next topic, guys, we're going to engulf ourselves in some edibles. We want everybody in the building to have some. Shout out to my homie Kia, he in the building.
Yes, sir.
Calico Productions is in the building. We got everybody in the building that's gonna partake in the good old-fashioned edibles. Let's move on to something a little bit more upbeat.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's do that.
Jason Van Dyke and all this crazy
Yeah,
shit.
she get real.
Yeah, you know, so you kind of park there for a minute and you're like, damn, all right, let's move on. NFL playoffs.
Yeah.
Wait, before we go there, why are the Chicago Bulls losing right now?
To me, it's real simple.
Injuries?
You know, so
They're on a
okay.
4-game skid and they're playing the Milwaukee Bucks as we speak, I believe. They not playing them tonight?
I think they play Friday.
Who they playing tonight?
Okay.
They play Cleveland tonight. Cleveland is
They beat
are they second in the division?
They
beat them 117 to 104.
Okay, so
I was gonna say
we
I knew Cleveland was like fourth in the East or something like
Cleveland,
that.
but we'll take it.
Now Cleveland been pretty good.
But Cleveland was second. I mean, they second in our division.
Yeah.
Our division is probably
We'll take it.
terrible. So, why were they losing?
So I think on one hand, like the Levine injury Like, I think that's got something to do with it. But
how long is he out, by the way?
That's a good question because
it wasn't major. I thought it was like
they said it was no damage. The MRI said it was no damage.
Fact check that for us, Kia. See how long he was out for. But everything came back.
Everything was good. Everything was good. All things considered. Yeah. No man, I just
introduced the squad to some edibles. Would you like some edibles?
Come to the light, sweetheart. Come to the light.
Felicia, y'all.
Come to the light. Come to the light.
She did a beautiful job in helping us set up and making us look good.
It's all right.
This Felicia, say hi to the people.
Hey, everybody.
Have an edible.
They good too.
How many should I get?
Man,
how many
I think
you
should
want?
get about 3.
You said you were stressed.
Are you how's your tolerance?
Oh, it's kind of up there. I was in a car accident, and since then, that's the only thing that relieved my pain.
Take about 5.
Yeah.
5.
Go for it.
So the bag is, I believe, 500 milligrams.
Yeah,
So get you about.
To get you where you need to be.
it's definitely gonna take me.
Yeah.
And then you can come on back. We're gonna be here for a minute.
All right, thank you.
No
Felicia,
worries.
y'all. Shout out to Felicia.
Shout out to Felicia, man.
So you saying that the Bulls are? I think the injuries obviously have.
That's
something
part
to do
of
with
it.
Caruso's not there yet.
Caruso's
right?
not there.
He returned tonight, I think.
But I also just think, man, like, okay, so I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. Because on one hand, the skeptic in me is like, I think when it's all said and done, I don't think the big 3 in New Jersey, they're ever gonna win a championship.
Okay.
But I also say the way you get KD and Harden, and I don't know if Kyrie played in that game. I think he did. But you get those
Against the Bulls.
Yeah, you get those guys. Okay.
Had like 22.
Yeah, they kicked our ass.
They better. Like those 3 guys, they
Well, yeah, I mean,
they gonna get it done.
Golden State better.
Golden State better. Like
outside of that,
but no,
I'm
you're
not
starting to see
convinced
right. No. You're starting to see like where the Bulls, right? Our expectations as fans are starting to increase.
Correct.
But you look at teams that either are better or are perceived to be either on their level or better. Okay. And you see that like, okay, this team is good. They should at least get to the second round of the playoffs. And then you get to the second round, anything can happen.
Speaking about the Bulls?
The Bulls.
Okay,
the Bulls. Like, I really think they can make a run in the playoffs. But there's still something, whether it's Milwaukee, whether it's Golden State, whether it's Philly, there's still
Philly, just because
right. There's still something where it's like it's getting there, but it's not quite there, and that's what kind of
the chemistry too. Mm-hmm. Like we talked about this a couple episodes ago. Everybody was just so gung ho on what the Bulls were doing, but we failed to realize like there's still chemistry issues. Like even if they are playing at a high level, that's great. And I think one of the reasons why they play at such a high level like that is because the pieces that the front office has put in there are pieces like, for example, Vucevic, Zach LaVine, and DeMar DeRozan. It just seems as if, even though those are high-powered offensive scorers, there's no issue with, okay, well, we know it's your night tonight, and then everything gets built around that, or vice versa.
Oh, no, the chemistry is,
But
go ahead.
The chemistry still isn't there yet. That's what I mean. Like, even it's worked because the pieces are great, I think. Yeah. But the chemistry isn't there yet. So when they go on these 3-4 game skids, either the chemistry is there with the other team, or they're just collapsing because they don't have it yet all the way.
And my thing, you mentioned Vucevic, like I liked the trade when they did it. I had no issue with the trade.
Still do love it.
But I think, to me, and maybe y'all will disagree, but to me so far this season, like with Vucevic, there's been a consistency thing. Like, to me, there's some nights where Vucevic gives you the 20 points, and then there's some nights where it's like he plays like dog shit. And it's just
I think that's the chemistry.
And that's just like,
because last year he really wasn't doing that before.
I just need the consistency.
You got DeMar
and
I'm about to call
Lonzo. Yeah.
That's how big
Right.
Father Mouth is.
Yeah. But I do believe Caruso, like,
Shout
especially
out
on
to LeVar Ball,
defensively, and with the spark he brings, I think that's believe it or not, I mean, obviously looking forward to Levine getting back because of what he can do. But like, I really am looking forward to Caruso getting back because he's like, I don't know what the hell the Lakers were thinking about letting him go the way they did.
They tried to get a discount about it.
Yeah, but
he knew that he could get more money.
yeah, but to me that's
Braun wasn't appealing enough for him to take a pay cut. So I'm proud of him because there's probably some players over there right now who just thought of winning the championship. They took a pay cut. He didn't.
But I think
look at their squad, though, guys. Well, just 1 through 5, and assuming Pat Williams is healthy, right? You got Lonzo Ball, who can shoot his ass off. I'm so impressed with him. Right?
He got a lot better.
Just on the shooting side, he could shoot his ass off, but he doesn't need. He's not that point guard.
Yeah.
He's pass and defense heavy first, right? Then you got Zach and DeMar. Some may want to call DeMar Batman, some call Zach Robin. I call Zach Batman, I call DeMar Robin, but that works so well. Got Pat Williams. We don't know what Pat Williams is going to be. We've seen glimpses of him. He developed a jumper. If his defense could get right, he could be like that athletic four at that spot. You know what the league is now, right? And then you got Vucevic, who is basically a double-double machine. And he could protect the paint. He blocks. You know what I mean? But when you put all that, which is great as far as chemistry, I think. But when you go from 6 to 12 with Caruso, with Kobe, with
what's the kid from he's from Illinois.
But look at what we doing. We naming all these guards.
Yeah, it's a lot of guards.
We need an athletic big. I mean, we do have what's bro's name that came from Derrick Jones Jr. We got him, but he's an athletic big because I consider him a 3/4, but he's a linky guy. He ain't really gonna be able to bang if you need him to. And his arsenal isn't just like that. We need another guy coming off that bench after Vucevic that maybe in some instances, like you said, will have more minutes than Vucevic because Vucevic is struggling.
But we
don't have that.
But listen to what you're saying. Like, it's almost like even though the team is not quite there, they're still like almost like there's an abundance of like riches there. And like you just right, like you got a foundation. You just got it. There are a couple pieces that'll probably have to come and go, and AK and Mark Eversley will get that fixed. You might have to get rid of Kobe. But the
stake is
y'all got so much
time. You think we should get rid of Kobe White?
I don't. But if getting rid of Kobe White gets you another big guy that you need.
One thing. I think we should get rid of Kobe White, don't you?
Yeah, Kobe White sucks. We need to get rid of Kobe White. What the fuck he's still on the roster for? We wasted our time.
All right,
go ahead.
This is the thing that bothers me about basketball, right?
Speak your truth, Black.
With basketball, it's like with football, you can panic early because you don't got a lot of time.
Right.
So after that third game, everybody in there sweating a little.
Yeah.
But in basketball,
I was just making that.
You got a lot of time. Like the playoffs ain't until 82
games.
Yeah.
So within that time frame, they can build more chemistry. You know, Caruso won't be injured. Levine will be back. You know, they can build more chemistry. And I really think how the front office has been with the Bulls so far, they're listening to the needs of the team. So I know that they're making it clear. We need some more big guys. I think they're going to make another move.
Yeah, they got to.
They're going to have to.
And I like Kobe, too.
I like
Kobe.
Yeah, I don't want him to trade Kobe, but yeah.
That may be.
But sometimes that's the piece you need. You get the piece you need.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not tripping off that if he go like
because
I like him,
we don't know what he gonna turn into. He may turn it because he got good D.
Yep.
And he's starting to knock down that trade piece.
But then also keep in mind, Abayo was drafted wasn't the second round, so like the Bulls don't. I think the Bulls retain his rights for like 2 years before it. Like, I don't know if he becomes a restricted free agent, but yeah.
But they good. And so if he develops, that's like a gem.
Exactly.
Found, you know
exactly.
What I mean?
You got time.
But it's a good thing when you're a good team and you have an abundance of talent where you got to make a decision on who you keep. And inevitably, there's always somebody you want to keep, but you got to either you can't, for whatever reason, you can't afford it.
We spoiled.
Yeah, you spoiled.
We're
right.
spoiled.
And especially it being your first year assembled.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a lot. That's
like
a lot. That's a lot.
And then you have this success. That's the reason why. Okay, guys, we've had some success early, but calm your excitement down, right?
Yeah.
Because
For
there's
sure.
still a chemistry issue. We still don't know what we need and what we don't need. So there's issues like that still have to come into play where we're not NBA Finals bound yet.
Not at all.
I
But
don't think we are.
but also it's such an indictment on John Paxson and
my
Garth.
God.
Like the way they've been able to like reconfigure this roster in a couple years, it makes you look at all that time, you know, post D-Rose injury. You look at all of that and you're like, what the hell?
I won't fault.
What the hell were they doing?
What I fault them for was nobody foresaw Derrick Rose's career being shortened like that.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
For the team that they had set up with a healthy Derrick Rose, I would have liked to see where we would have gone with that team. Because I think we was almost there.
But you know what though, Ray? Like it's something that it's different from this team because that team was extremely, massively top heavy.
Yeah.
When I say that, I mean like it was Derrick Rose and company almost, right?
I know what you
like
mean.
this. So you see what?
And there was a lot of defense.
Yeah.
And when we played teams, this is what I remember. When we played teams that put up a lot of points, we didn't have a chance. We weren't putting up a lot of points.
But it was,
Yeah.
We played a lot of good defense.
We had Tibbs.
Yeah.
And we had extraordinary deep. We was
played
always
great
like
defense.
top 3 or top 4
3,
defense.
every defensive player of the year, Joakim Gat. Like, we was defensive player, and that's how it is in New York right now. Like where Tibbs go, you're gonna play defense if you play for Tibbs. Like if you can't play if you don't play defense. But we got other teams that really take a backseat to defense to put up points, right? They talked about James Harden all these years that he'll never win with that mentality, and not damn near the whole league has adapted to that philosophy. We want to shoot, put up big leads. So I don't know if that's true anymore. I think the league has changed now. You got to be able to put up points. And when I look back at that old Thibodeau Bulls compared to this Bulls, it's a completely different situation.
Because, and I think it's because like I really feel like you know, we was talking about. I know you were severely wrong about the Ryan Pace thing, but that's just one thing. But one thing I did mention about him and the reason why I don't think he was a good fit is the culture thing.
Yeah.
And you know, I know that's just like a cliche word in regards to sports because people like really be like, well, what do you mean by culture? What do you mean? But I feel like these guys are in tune with this age of basketball instead of just like
doing it the
drafting and I figure it out from there. No, these guys are doing their homework with that shit to know like certain pieces that fit. Like taking a chance on Io and it's just a beautiful thing to see come together.
Sometimes I think we have an idea of something, but it's what we think is a great idea is really not the best idea. We always say we want ex-players to be in those positions. Sometimes that's not the best thing to do. Because if you played, and just like with Pax, right? He played and he won at a high level. Yeah. So who you gonna listen to? Like he got his own mindset. I played on the championship team. You can't tell me shit. Like that's a mentality. Yeah. Versus somebody who comes in now is like, hey, tell me what you need.
But see what, and that's what happens to players like that. Because look at like Mario Chalmers or what was his name? Norris, the point guard that they had for Miami. Like those guys left.
No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Chalmers and then
Mario Chalmers.
I forgot the other guy's name, but they leave they win at a very young age, and they leave, and you can't say shit to them. No. And their careers are short-lived after that.
Yeah, they think
so that's the reason
I
why.
won at a high level. So how can you tell me what it takes to win at a high level?
Look at Scott Williams. Well, Scott Williams was never really
But Dumars, he was over there in Detroit, wasn't he? Wasn't Dumars over operations in Detroit?
Yes.
And things like that. And just like in New York, when they had Isaiah Thomas over in New York, right? You have ex-players who won at a high level. So they look at it like, in hindsight, you say, well, that should be the best person because they won at a high level. They should know what it takes to win. When in reality, they're not listening to the needs of the team because they got this arrogance. Well, I won, you didn't. You should listen to me.
Well, Dumars had some success, though. I said Dumars had some success when he was running it.
But what I'm saying
was he there when they won the championship?
I think he was, yeah. I think he was.
Different guys that played in the league that actually.
No, I got you. Yeah.
We assume that that's the best thing. You know what I'm saying? And to me, I would never want Michael Jordan to be a coach. I would never want Michael Jordan to be because what they say.
No, I got you. Yeah.
At the highest level. Who's better to pick a player than Michael Jordan? And who did he pick in the first round, his first year? Kwame Brown. That doesn't mean that you're the most qualified.
He ain't the only one that made a mistake.
No, that's true, but I'm just saying.
He stayed getting scrutinized for that.
I mean, Mike Ditka, his first year with the New Orleans, they gave a whole fucking draft away for Ricky Williams. You know what I'm saying? We assume these guys who won know what's best. But the guys that come in who listens are actually the ones that have more success. Go to the team and say, hey guys, what do you need? We need this, we need that. Okay, let me go get what you need so we can win.
We're about to find that out with the Bears. With Bill Polian. But I digress.
Well, that's a good segue. So we'll talk about before we get to the good old faithful Chicago Bears. I like your hat. I like your sweatshirt too.
I appreciate it.
Let's talk about these playoffs. I don't know about y'all, and I did something that was more ignorant than what Skills did on the last episode.
Bet on the Cowboys.
I bet on the Dallas Cowboys.
Don't know why you did that.
I don't know.
So here's my thought, right? Here's my thoughts with this. Damn, these motherfuckers are trending up, right?
Yeah. Defense was
Dak was getting the shit beat out of him in the media. They was talking shit about Dak. Yeah. Them last 2 or 3 games, though.
Yeah.
Man,
well, I look at who they play.
He had a field.
I look at who they play.
But he was looking terrible against some garbage teams.
No, that's true.
Well.
That's true.
And he came back, and so these are this is why I was like, nah, San Francisco is trending. I mean, I know about Debo. I know about the tight end. I know. But I just felt like this is their time.
Okay.
And every Cowboy fan does that too. Yeah. So BT come over, shout out to B Smooth, one of my brothers. The first thing you did was call me.
I was like, check on BT. Okay? Is he okay?
He's heavy Dallas Cowboy fan for no reason.
It broke his heart.
So, and what you didn't know is that I'm rocking with him.
Man.
But you know what I did after the Cowboys lost? I blamed him. I said, I ain't never rocking with you with these damn teams no more, man. Everything just, I was looking at that game, bro.
That was the worst matchup for them.
It was a bad matchup.
That was a bad matchup.
And if you watched I think it was Countdown Live, everybody on the panel was like, this is probably the one team Dallas did not want to play in the playoffs. Yeah.
If Dallas would have seen Philly in the first round, they would have won.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
And I'm sorry, I know he do it, it's performed, he do it for show, but I mean, look, what Stephen A. Smith say is right with the Cowboys. Just wait.
Just wait. They're gonna break your heart.
What can happen will happen. All you gotta do is wait. And damn it if he wasn't right. Yeah.
I've never went the Cowboy route.
But the Cowboys, and this is my thing with the Cowboys. When you look at a roster, you look at the players that's on the Cowboys team. Even the rookie who had, now this is a first, right? What is a first is Lawrence Taylor actually. To have a rookie that you already knew was the defensive rookie of the year 7 weeks in, and then towards the end of the career, have a conversation about him being the defensive player of the year. There were conversations about it. He wasn't going to get it. Right. But there were conversations. He had that great of a first season. The Cowboys struck it on that draft pick. They got C.D. Lamb. Yeah, Michael Pearson. They got C.D. Lamb. You got a Bro, they got a lineup.
They got talent.
That is
on the defensive side. Diggs.
11
Diggs
interceptions.
get burnt a lot.
They got talent.
Diggs had.
They got talent.
He do get burnt a lot, though.
But he get burnt because he take chances. Yeah,
exactly.
He about stats. And see, but that's how it come to hunt you. What I was worried about was the 49ers over the last 3 weeks was projected to have the #1 defense in the NFL. Bosa came back.
Yeah.
They were a different team, right? And I said, that's the worst thing for Dak is to play the hottest defense in the league first round because they not giving you the shit you used to get. Zeke was a non-factor in that game. They took him out the game. Amari Cooper had a touchdown, but other than that, he didn't make a lot of noise. C.D. Lamb dropped several passes because they was putting the pressure on him. He's not used to corners getting physical with him and pushing and grabbing him, so he couldn't even make a catch in the game that was worth a damn. If they'd have played Philadelphia, they would have beat them, and they would have broke their fans' hearts a week later.
But then the insulting thing was like, at the end of that game, San Francisco did everything possible to try to give that game away.
Yeah.
Like that. Like if I'm a Cowboys fan, that's the insulting part. Was like they were doing everything to give Dallas this game, and Dallas still couldn't figure out a way.
If you could have told me the Dallas Cowboys are going to play the 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to throw for 1 touchdown but 1 interception, and Dak is going to throw for over 200 yards, I said the Cowboys win that game.
That was just
Cowboys won that game. Cowboys didn't win that game.
I definitely took a couple of dollars out of my pocket and handed them out. So that's what upset me. So with that being said, Dallas, I'm never in life right.
Can I ask y'all a question before we go to another topic?
Please do.
I'm curious. We here. Let me ask y'all. Right? The last play was 14 seconds on the clock. We all know what they're doing. They're playing to prevent defense.
Right.
They're not giving nothing deep.
Right.
He had the middle of the field wide open. He did the quarterback sneak, ran for about like 12, 13, maybe about 15 yards. I give him that, right? Was that a good play in your opinion?
Part of me is
At
like,
that point, he's on the 40-yard line.
Wait,
Right.
say that again.
Let me paint it. He's on the 40-yard line. There's 14 seconds left in the game. Touchdown wins it, right? Because they was only up 6. Touchdown wins the game for them. No timeouts. Let's be clear. In a prevent defense, they backed up to the end zone. So you got the middle of the field, do whatever you want with. He threw 3 passes to the sideline for the first downs. They shut that shit down after the 3. They was
finally, because
yeah.
yeah.
You got the middle of the field, that's all you got. Would you have taken your chances throwing 2 passes deep to the end zone, or should he have ran that quarterback sneak to get those yards, to make it closer? What would you have called in that situation? Or do you think that was, not what you have called, do you think that was a good call, the quarterback sneak?
You want to take this, Vince? I'm disgusted.
Yeah, I mean it's a good question, and I guess my answer would be, like, my gut says if you have 14 seconds left, one of those you should at least make one attempt at throwing the ball deep downfield and seeing if you can get something. You get a pass interference, whatever it is. You try to get something. But I also am like, okay, I get, like, on one hand, the 49ers finally decided, okay, we need to put some people on the sides.
Because they was giving them 3
right, because we just giving it to them.
Down.
Right, so they finally realized that. So I look at it like they probably were like, all right, we're going to take what they can give us. But at that point, it was just, you know, for all the excuses they made about, oh, that's, you know, we do that in practice and this, that, and the other. Like, time wasn't on their side. Like, I'll put it that way. You had no timeouts. You couldn't stop the clock.
No.
Yeah, it was.
You just ran.
You're making the best out of a bad situation, but it's not gonna lead to anything.
And let me also put this out here about the Dallas Cowboys.
Watch yourself.
So this is what disturbs me the most about them when we talk about on paper, and I just received a stat line from them. The Dallas Cowboys are the first team ever to have a quarterback throw for over 4,000 yards, a running back to rush for over 1,000 yards, a receiver to catch for over 1,000 yards, a defensive player to have 10 plus sacks, and a defensive back to have 10 plus interceptions. And they still lose in the wild card.
That's what I'm saying. It's not
badly too. They just look terrible.
And you was getting your ass kicked in the first half. They didn't do nothing that meant anything into the fourth quarter.
But
that's when it was a game. I had changed the channel because at that point I was like, they getting their ass kicked at the beginning of the game. And I was like, this is what they do every year. And then the fourth quarter, they teased you because then they came back and made it the game. And then they going for the final drive. And then, because it was a drive before that drive when they had like almost a minute and a half left. And then he threw a goddamn interception. And then you're like, okay, that's it. No, you get the ball back again.
I'm going to just say.
I think they're getting AB next year.
You think they what?
They're getting Antonio Brown. I already seen Jerry Jones talking to him.
Okay. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this realistically.
Have y'all seen the, what is the fucking podcast called? With the guy who do the voiceovers. Have you ever heard this guy doing the voiceovers for like sports and you know?
Is that the one he was sitting? That's the only one he did.
Yeah.
Where he was saying.
I saw clips of it. Yeah,
like that.
I saw clips of it.
Have you actually watched it?
I only seen the clips of that one.
So
that's
you
the first time I watched
it
it was with AB. Let me tell the truth.
Yeah. So I seen the whole.
Okay.
The whole podcast.
Okay.
And Antonio Brown is, you know, a lot of this. He reminds
Okay,
me
don't do it. Come on, man.
What?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
You don't even know what I'm doing.
Don't be out here like he got a point. Okay. I'm just saying because it looked like that's where you were about to come with it.
Damn.
But if I'm wrong, I'll apologize. But I swear you was giving me that. Yeah, but you know, if you listen to the podcast, he makes some points.
You got me sounding like a moron.
So no. So I'm just saying. So you tell. All right, if that ain't
Can
what
I
it.
finish?
Please.
I'm okay to finish.
You are. It's your podcast. Go for it.
I can't wait to hear
Apparently not.
I'm just saying. You just.
Okay.
I had some concerns.
What I was. Fuck it. Let's move on to the. So, you know who Antonio Brown kind of reminds me of, and that's all I was going to say.
Then I apologize. All right.
Kind of reminds me of Kanye West.
That's a fact.
I give you that.
So I say that because he's a very defensive individual. And these are guys that may not be able to articulate their points properly. Like some people would even say, this motherfucker don't even know how to talk or something. But if you really listen, they are speaking on their behalves in a high fashion.
Okay.
So, and you remember where I stood last week when we talked about Antonio Brown with Bruce Arians, and I already knew that, you know, KYP, like, shout out to Stacey King, know your personnel. And I knew, like, you don't talk to Antonio Brown like that. And, I mean, he touched on a lot of stuff. Y'all just got to watch it. I'm not going to just go in and
I got you.
a power about Antonio Brown. But I enjoyed the podcast.
Okay.
That's all I tried to say.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
Well,
All right.
Just jumped down my throat
Since
about.
you said that, let me ask you this. You're
Let me
on the football
let me
team.
turn.
You're the owner of the football team. Would you take Antonio Brown on your team?
Right now?
Right now. Not this season, obviously, but next season, because he's a free agent now.
I don't think
Would you take him?
I would not.
Would you take him? I mean, let's say you got a team that's damn near there. You just need one more guy. You can get him at minimum, because right now he's getting minimum money. He's not getting no big money. You can get him for $1 million. And that's facts. You can get him for $1 million.
Go ahead.
Wait,
Would you take it?
Can we take a shot of
Absolutely.
tequila?
Yeah.
Before we shout out to Ray Skills for being wrong. We have.
He is a man of his word.
It costs to be wrong around here.
It's okay.
Hey man, you know.
Let's use the
Yep. Because I still got some
smaller
whiskey in there.
joints.
But would you even be bothered with this guy? Because I wouldn't.
Once we take these shots, I will let you know
answer
my
question?
answer.
Okay. Well, let's
Being bothered with the guy. Damn, y'all motherfuckers.
I wouldn't be bothered with his
Y'all
ass.
sound like white guys.
I wouldn't.
Jeez. God.
And while we pull the
damn.
shots, let me give you this story real quick. I won't make it long. My son, well, they don't watch it with their kids. All right, so listen. My son has a couple friends that he play football, basketball. It's pretty much the same group of kids, right? They play both sports together.
Good.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
I know you don't mess with it like that.
I
That's
really
why
don't.
Hey,
But-
your ass gonna go home and be happy as hell.
He already got an edible or two.
Right,
Have
right.
some
You're gonna be
edibles.
lying
Right.
tonight.
Right,
For
right.
real.
Cheers. I know you can still tell
No,
your story
We're gonna
about
do
your
it the right
son.
way.
Absolutely.
We're gonna do it the right way.
And I will. Can I answer the Antonio Brown thing before
Absolutely.
you get into that, or you want to?
Well, let me give you the story first, and then you do that.
Well, let's take this shot, man. Don't
All
try
right.
to cover
One time.
it. Come on, man. What y'all doing, bro?
All right.
One time.
No, we don't have to do that again. Go ahead.
But he got some
That's
friends.
not bad.
No, it's all right.
He got friends that he play with, and he's noticing different things about them personally from playing with him. You got certain guys, if they don't get a lot of attention, they quit on the team. They always complaining, don't want to go in. Coach tell them to go in, they don't want to go in. You got a couple other guys that's thirsty, they're not as talented, but they're thirsty to compete, and it's still more valuable, right? You got all these different personalities. And what I tell him is, I asked him, I said, because one of them is one of his close friends, and he's a guy that if something go wrong, he gets an attitude and it's fuck everybody, he don't want to play.
Okay.
And I say, Tyrion, if you see that now, are you comfortable with having him as a teammate? And my son is like, I don't know, because I don't know if I can trust him. You know what I'm saying? We got a big game, because high schools always got rivalries. They got rivalries with Revis, Oakland, different schools.
Right.
We really need him for those rivalry games, but if he catch feelings, he may not be available to play. So I say that to compare that to Antonio Brown, whereas if he's playing, you're happy he's on your team because he's going to go out there and play better than any receiver on that field. He's thirsty.
Correct.
But if he catches feelings when it matters the most, he's going to cost you. So does that matter enough to keep a guy?
It depends on how good the guy is. So so to be honest, like, would I take a chance on Antonio Brown if I'm starting a franchise and I know his previous
history, everything he did?
and-
Yeah.
Yeah.
You take a chance on him?
Well, because because Antonio Brown, and everybody doesn't look at it like this, right?
Okay.
Antonio Brown will still be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer if Bruce Arians didn't belittle the man.
That's true.
Because he didn't want him to complete a task that Antonio Brown didn't want to do. Now, the stories are that we don't know what the story is, right? The story is like, at first, he wanted to go in and he wasn't getting enough touches, and then finally when that just doesn't make much sense to me though. Now that you got your opportunity to go in, if you were really concerned about that incentive situation, you do go in. Like, I need you to go in.
Get the money.
It makes more sense to me that he said he didn't want to go in anymore because his shit was fucked up. But we don't know the only people that know that is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the sidelines, and that's it. But what we do know is Bruce Arians told him to get the fuck out of here.
Now, two things with that.
We know that for a fact because it came out of Bruce Arians' mouth.
He said exactly what he said to him. Two things to that. We do know more now, right? Because inside NFL, I don't know if you guys watch that, but I watch that every week.
Yeah, I watch.
They got the cameras on the sidelines, right? So the story was he was trying to get his incentive, and he needed so many catches, but he had 2 games, so he would have definitely got.
I was gonna say that's the thing. He had 2
games. He'd have got, right?
Yeah.
The issue was in that game, he started targeting Grunt more. In that game, he felt some kind of way about it. In the Inside NFL episode with the cameras on the sideline, they showed Tom Brady come up to him and say, "Hey, we're good to go." Like he was trying to confirm that he's back in the right frame of mind. And he looked at me and said, "I'm good, I'm ready to go." Now that's what he told Tom Brady. Bruce Arians came over. Now one of the coaches told him to go in the game. He said, "No, I'm not going there." So then Bruce Arians went over there to him and was like, "What are you doing? What are you talking about? You're not going in the game?" And he said something. He was like, "Get the fuck out." And that's what happened. So the cameras caught that part of it. Tom Brady was trying to calm him down. Y'all seen Mike Evans trying to calm him down. Yeah. I think he was in his feelings.
For sure. I'm not denying
now, Bruce
anything.
Arians being that bold with him definitely took it over the top, right? It took it over the top.
Could have got past it.
And he knew that he was a sensitive guy, and if you address him a certain way. But I think with Bruce Arians, his thing is, and if you've ever seen interviews with Bruce Arians, he's famous for being old school and bold. Like, he's an old school coach. Like, he's that guy, like we talked about in high school ball, where your coach will be like, "Get the fuck out of here," and push you in the head and shit. That old school philosophy, he comes from that. I agree.
Old school white men have a tendency of being slave masterish.
Definitely overstepping their bounds for how they address a man.
I mean, he just got fined $50,000 for hitting one of his players on the head.
But
yeah,
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But he's not a kid. He's a grown-ass man. So that works in high school. That works in college. Nick Saban, the shit that he say to his kid, like, bro, they talk to these kids because they can. But in the league, these players are making more than the coaches. Mm-hmm. So who the fuck are you to talk to me like that? I'm a grown man. Like, they'll fire you and I'll still get a contract. Mm-hmm. You better respect my name. It's a different atmosphere. So when you go to a grown-ass man who, in my opinion, is the first ballot Hall of Famer, and talk to him like he's a third stringer,
and plus, you know,
he feels disrespected.
And you know the backlash to that, and you still didn't give a fuck because you were being just as emotional as Antonio Brown.
In that moment, he was, and he should have been better as a coach.
Because I get it,
he should have been better.
I get it. Like, there's a lot on the line right now, but you were being just as emotional as the player you're accusing of just not fucking knowing how to hone his emotions.
And I think he knew him well enough to know that wouldn't go well, right? Now, in this football, so in football, you know, you got a lot of this aggression and shit. Like, it's really aggressive. So sometimes, like, if you could really take your time to do something, you would do it different. But in the heat of the moment, it's aggressive because it's football, right? But even you as a coach, you know this guy is sensitive. You know Tom Brady is dealing with him the way he is because of that. Like, Tom Brady didn't scream and yell at Antonio Brown. He was always real patient. Even Mike Evans, if you see the video, he wasn't screaming at Antonio Brown. He was reasoning with him. Like, everybody knew this guy's too emotional to scream at. Like, you got to reason with him. But the coach was just like, "You're not going in? We'll get the fuck out of here." You know what I'm saying? So it's like, as the minute he did that to an emotional guy, he got emotional and made a scene. Right. Now, I think he's going to regret that, fam. I really do. I think he's going to regret that because I think a lot of teams are going to punish him for what he did. The fact that he waved Antonio to the crowd, did the jumping jacks and shit. If he'd have just did it and just went to the locker room, I think he would be on the team next year. Yeah. The fact he did all that extra shit, I think they're going to make an example out of him.
It's a wrap. Like, honestly, I think it's over.
I think they're gonna make an example out of him, and that's sad because he's one of the best receivers in the game, and he can make any team better.
Yes, it's a wrap.
But he's emotional.
I would recommend y'all watch that podcast.
I'm gonna watch all of it.
I'm gonna check it out. Yeah.
Are we gonna Are we going to get any black coaches in the NFL, guys?
Black coaches besides Mike Tomlin?
Yeah, outside of Mike Tomlin.
Well, we will, because I think Brian Flores is going to get a job.
I think he'll get hired. Yeah, so I think
Brian
you'll have
Flores
2.
is going to get a job this year. So you're going to
Maybe
see
3.
at least 2 black coaches get hired this year.
Okay.
So you'll have at least 3, but that ain't shit with 32 teams.
That's my point. Like, where are we at from? And I'm not just saying that. Okay, when we talk about equality, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we, the one thing that supersedes equality is credentials and where we're at and
double that for us.
Who deserves the fucking job?
Double all that shit for us.
But at the end of the day, how much noise do we make over this, man? Like, is this just extremely overt? Or is this just something that coincidentally there's more white candidates than there are black candidates and more white credentials? So
until we get black owners.
Let's do this.
We can't control it.
Let's figure out how many NFL coaches have played professional football. Mm-hmm. Can we do that?
Okay.
And then in this modern day era, I would say, so right now I believe from a African American standpoint in the NFL, I want to say this, let's say 69 to 71% black.
It is,
right?
Yeah.
How long has it been like? I wonder if it's been like that since the 70s, 80s. You mean to tell me
since the
that,
70s, definitely.
So you mean to tell me that a institution that is predominantly African American, that when you look at the head coaching position, the first thing you look for is somebody that, has some stake in the game. As far as, he played DB, he played this. Yeah. He was a, and you climb that ladder and you reach a certain pinnacle, and maybe that pinnacle is head coach, maybe it's GM, but it seems like that pinnacle for African American men the ceiling is way lower.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're gonna put you as a DB coach. We're gonna put you as a running back coach. Yeah. We're gonna put you as the defensive coordinator.
We got a lot of black coaches in those positions.
You know what I mean? So, how do you bring? I mean, there's this rule called the Rooney Rule that has been created, and it still does no good.
You only have to interview a black candidate.
That's what I mean.
You don't have to hire one, but you have to at least give them an interview. Yeah, so they'll give a couple black coaches like Caldwell. You know what I'm saying? Every year they interview him, and he knows he's a token. To the point where last year, I think it was a few interviews that he declined because he knows he's a token black guy just to say I interviewed a black coach, right? So that's what they do to cover their ass, is to say I interviewed black coaches, but I picked a better candidate. But we all know this. Those who run the show typically hire those who resemble those who run the show. Mm-hmm. So as long as we got white billionaires that own the teams, then that's going to be the reality. They're going to want somebody who looks like them, who talks like them, who come from where they come from to run their organization. Now, this is my problem with that. I don't necessarily have a big problem with that. I don't like what it means for black coaches, but I'm just going to be honest. If we had majority black owners, how many black coaches would we have? I think we'd have a shitload of black coaches because they would hire people who could understand them, who could relate to them. Until we get black owners, this is always going to be the league.
And you know what? Like, too, Ray, I don't know if I all the way agree with what you're saying, but I know where you're coming from.
Right.
But I do feel like there's just a different dynamic when we get in positions of power.
Yeah.
Where there's a more fair atmosphere than it is when Caucasians get into power, which they usually always are when it comes to situations like this, where it's like not about who deserves the job, it's about who makes me comfortable.
Right.
Who makes me comfortable.
Exactly.
Sitting in that position.
Exactly.
So,
because we know it's a lot of coaches that sucked,
yes.
right? That they bid the house on, right? They put all this money on, they gave control of their organization, and they screwed it up. And they didn't do anything good, and they set them back. And they'll go right back and hire another white GM and coach all over again. So they're not scarred from the experience. They just want to hire who they feel comfortable running the show. And they feel comfortable having somebody who look like them, talk like them, run their organization. I hate that for us because I know we don't have not one black owner in the NFL or the NBA.
We're doing the NBA.
Do we still? Does he still own?
Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Okay. Well, Michael Jeffrey Jordan is
the
the
majority
owner
of the Charlotte.
And that to me is a smack in the face that that's the only guy that they're allowed to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
for
I
sure.
look at the NBA too, and I look at it and say, well, how many black coaches do we have in the NBA, right? Now, we might have more than NFL, but really, how many do we have? It's everywhere. Those who run the show hire people they feel comfortable. NBA has moved a lot faster than the NFL with social awareness. You know what I'm saying? So it will probably happen in the NBA way before the NFL. But I look at this, and this is what I want to leave with this, and I'll leave it alone. Mike Tomlin is the only black coach in the NFL right now. And he's the only coach that I can think of for the last 10 years that's never had a losing season.
15.
15 years has never had a losing season. Let's give him his due.
Yeah.
15 years. So you got to be that to keep a job in the NFL. I don't know who can guarantee you that shit, bro.
Yeah, well, the rope is very short for.
Brian Flores had an 8-game winning streak this year. You know they started 1-7, and they won 8 straight games and almost went to the playoffs, and they still fired.
Sam Mitchell for I think he coached Toronto.
Toronto, they won a championship.
No, that was
Not with him.
Then, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
he won Coach of the Year though.
Okay.
And did he get fired the next year?
They fired him the year before.
No, that was Dwayne Casey you're thinking of.
That was Dwayne Casey.
Yeah.
Was
Okay,
he fired the year before they won the championship?
No, he's fired. They got
But-
Okay.
Sam Mitchell won Coach of the Year too, if I'm not mistaken, and he got fired as well.
How do you win Coach of the Year and you know what I'm saying?
And it wasn't too long after that either.
Nah.
But it's just
The bar
like,
is too
yeah.
high. We got to do extraordinary numbers.
You're doing too good.
Just to get a regular job, bro.
All right, fellas. I know I had a good time today. Listen, I think I spared you, man, because I really could have been.
Well, we talking about some real shit, so you didn't tap in a lot.
And I told you that's what we were gonna do. So, I guess.
I got one thing to say.
Go ahead, man.
All-
Cocaine, again, is
Hey.
a hell of a drug. You already know. We've discussed that before. I don't fuck with it.
I'm going to say this
Ray
much.
said last time you didn't say it? Okay.
I don't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I thought you
I'm just, my final thought for this podcast is if that Professor Carey chick on Power don't come up dead by the end of the season, I'm gonna be pissed.
Let's do it, Paul.
That's all I gotta say. If she don't come up dead by the end of this season, I'm gonna be pissed. That's all I gotta say. That's my final thought. That's my final thought.
Bad,
They ain't got nothing to do with it. I need her to.
Now, which one are you talking about? Give me some context
Matt
of what you
put it
said.
so I remember when I was. I'm glad you did this, so we ain't.
Yeah. Let's get it on a good note.
Yeah.
I was talking about me and wifey was in the room looking at it, and I was saying, "Look at her. She a thought." You know what I'm saying? Why is she a thought? Because she had sex with
She just a
men?
thought with a PhD.
I said,
That's
no,
it. Like
she had
that's
sex
what
with
it.
like 4 or 5 people
Right.
around the same time.
And then looking down her nose of there, man.
But did you see when Method Man walked
I saw
in?
it. I saw it.
Check
Man.
her.
Yeah. But still, my statement stands. If she don't come up dead by the end of this season, I'm gonna be very upset.
Prediction, but I'm not gonna bet on it.
You on that too, Felicia? You on that too?
She gotta go. She gotta
Can't
go.
be exposed.
She gotta
But she's
go.
not gonna go first.
What if she
In
do
my
that was just
opinion,
so bad?
I think they're gonna kill the father first. I think Mary J. Blige.
Or
gonna kill her
Lorenzo.
husband, bro.
Nah, Lorenzo gonna be there for a minute.
Yeah.
She don't like not being in control. She's a housewife when
But
he's
she
out.
don't. She trying to get back to that. They've had like a little bit of moments, but bro is a problem.
She trying to, Mecca.
Bro, father.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, Lorenzo.
He's the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah,
That
your
shit
problem.
gonna
That's
blow up.
gonna, yeah.
And she still don't even know that's who Kane's
She don't know
connected.
that's connect yet. She don't know yet.
know that's where she
Nope.
getting her work from.
Mm-hmm.
Bro. So
It's all gonna come to
that's
a head.
gonna be crazy.
I swear, man, my
I
two.
don't know now because I was.
No, I had to catch up too, but
behind.
my
I'm
two,
caught up.
like, I think,
It's getting better.
so
Where this Red Man thing going?
I don't know where that's going, but I was gonna say,
That's
man,
his brother.
Tariq, look,
If you got dude out, get
Tariq on a hell of a winning streak. One of them chicks gonna come up pregnant, man. It's just a question to me
Yeah.
of which one.
That's interesting.
Like,
Yeah,
one of them gonna
shit.
come up pregnant, one of them gonna
How
come
you
up
feel-
dead.
How you feel about the? Look at you. We about to.
Right, no, and I didn't start it some whole.
How you feel about old girl that's handling the work for him? Does that say is there like a little bit of shadiness going on
I
there?
think
So-
she
I was
for real.
good with you. Think
She
she
for real. She don't put no emotion in.
So it's a couple things. I think Effie on.
Ain't no emotion.
I think
It's like
Effie
work.
is on her money. I think she really liked Tariq, but I think at the end of the day,
She
if
gonna
it
be
all
like,
come
nigga,
down
fuck
to
you,
it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Right,
She's
right.
not choosing him over her.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I think Monet
And I like
gonna play that pawn when she figure
Yeah.
out. Like I could play
Yeah.
that pawn. Well, ain't no more work, you know, because Poppy brought
Right.
all the fucking work. You know what I'm saying? So
Man, I gotta be honest, and I know it's Afro Latino.
We gonna figure something.
And don't be wrong, I know it's Afro Latino people, but man, it's something about watching them speak Spanish in these episodes, man. That I'm like, this shit is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But nah, shout out to 50, man. So far it's been good, but he
It
just.
was a little slow for me at first.
But Professor Karen, she gotta come up missing, man. She gotta something gotta happen.
doing too
That's the
much.
first
Yeah.
time I heard that.
And she
part.
was
She gotta come. She gotta go.
because
What we checking for that?
but you know, Monet don't even know what she on, cause Monet told her to like chill with this shit now.
I'm just
It don't
saying.
matter about Zeke is all
We got 3 more episodes.
And she still was like,
I gotta see it.
I wonder what Monet gonna do when she find out that the professor is the one who really like drove on that. Like she could have left it alone.
Monet nice with a gun. I mean, she just do that. Yeah.
that, just take care of
that's,
that.
that's all I
I don't
need.
know, man.
That's
But-
all I
Yo,
need.
Method Man was gonna come in there and smash.
Yo, how crazy?
I kind of did.
She smashed everybody.
No, Method about
I thought he
that
was
brick.
gonna
He
say-
already hit her.
He hit her.
Yeah.
They alluded to it. He just,
It's
yeah.
him, the detective, Zeke, and the dead nigga,
Yeah.
the professor. He didn't hit. He hit her. He hit her already. a
My
long
favorite
time ago.
moment so far this season, because my sister was watching it with me. She called me Sunday. So I watched about 3-4 episodes. The moment that I loved was the smile she had on her face when Tariq was locked up. And the look on her face when he
professor.
walked in the classroom.
Yeah, professor.
Yeah, bro.
That to me
Yeah.
made it work. I couldn't
Yeah.
stop watching it after that.
gotta-
Like she felt like it's over. He
She
gone.
gotta
And
go.
Hey, shout out to Chicago's finest.
She gotta go.
Hey, that nigga.
Lorenz.
Hey, he is. Yo, I just love the way that smirk he be having on his face.
That's
every
a politician
time.
smirk, bro.
Bro, he's
you know it.
he's playing the hell out of
Yes,
that
he
role,
is.
bro.
How can you
know
help
that
me,
hell out
brother?
of it.
Yeah.
But you know, I hope he don't gather a soft spot for old girl you talking about. Because you see
It
that
look like
last
he-
I
comment.
did, man.
Yeah,
She
like
gotta
he is.
go. I'm just like,
But he
man.
don't give a fuck.
Yeah, he
At
don't-
No, he
the
don't.
end of the day, it is.
It's
what it
power
is.
for him. It's like, no pun intended. It's
No, I'm
straight
back
up
on
power
point.
for him.
I'm back on point.
Back
and
on
I'm
But-
going up.
For sure.
Telling you,
We'll see.
man.
And then, just when you thought it was over and you get like, damn, this shit over, here come Tommy.
You see the preview
Tommy
for that?
coming right after that, man. This
Ah,
ain't 50. Hey, man, let's raise our glass to 50. I really appreciate what the man doing.
Absolutely.
He's like literally making sure like you don't miss a beat with what he's involved in.
Nah, as soon as we done with this, another one coming.
When this go off, Power Book. What is this gonna be? Power Book 3?
This is fourth.
It's- yeah.
This is the third one.
This,
Well, it's the
okay, so
fourth one.
3 is Kanan. So Power Book 4 gonna be
Tommy.
And then he got one with Lorenzo Tate.
Do we?
Yeah.
Dude, don't he?
He got one for the political side with Lorenzo Tate.
But that ain't came into fruition yet.
But you see how they working on the characters
these
to make
folks,
it.
So you got, it's like a whole design
universe.
Is okay. So when this go off, Tommy coming on, and then Kanan gonna come on again, and then BMF gonna come on again, and then Power 2 gonna come on. Hey man,
if you'd have told me 20 years ago, 50 Cent is gonna be running the game on the TV side in terms of writing series and creating shows and giving actors shot.
Well, shout out to a girl that's writing. She gonna leave. She leaving though, ain't she? Key, you told me she leaving.
Courtney
right?
Kemp, she leaving.
Yeah, man.
You can find another writer.
Yeah,
he all in now.
He all in, and there's similarities to like that Kanan series to his first movie that he actually acted in. So it's a lot of similarities.
So I apologize. I know we was trying to get out, but I had to get that off my chest. She gotta die.
That was big.
I'm checking for that.
She gotta go. Yeah.
All right, man. So with that being said, this is the 606 Whateva Podcast. We'll see y'all in a minute.
Yes, sir.
2 of them.